Hi there, and thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of your Wheel and Anchor weekly newsletter. Thought I'd touch on a bit of a different subject this week, and that is intentionality. If you think about traveling, do you consciously set an intention of what it is that you want to achieve or accomplish or learn while you're away? Since the onset of the pandemic, we will have lost probably the better part of 2 years by the time we get back to serious traveling again. And, let's face it, we don't have an unlimited amount of time that we'll be able to travel in. And so it becomes, assert, even more important that we place a little bit of extra emphasis about what our intentions are. And I'm going to delve into this subject a little bit further in future newsletters. But I wanted to put it, for example, in the context of Tuscany, which is a webinar, a trip that we're going to be doing next year in April. Actually, we'll be doing it twice next year, in the spring and in the fall. But we're going to be releasing our newest LiveAway webinar on that destination this coming Thursday. And interestingly, it has been by far the most subscribed for program that we have released to date. And why is that? I'm curious what it is that is your intention for traveling to a place like Tuscany. And so for many people, it may be just a matter of something that they've heard about. They've had friends that have traveled there. They've always wanted to visit Italy. But at the same time, if we really think about what is the experience that we intend to have, is it that we intend to expand our knowledge, our understanding of the great Italian masters of art? Is it about the culture that we want to experience in a place like Florence? Is our intention maybe just to sample the wonderful food and wine that Italy, and in particular Tuscany, is so well known for? Is our intention just to have a good time with friends while we're away for a month? And all of those are perfectly valid intentions, and yet there might be one or two that particularly resonate with you. And if you take some time to dwell on that a little bit, and if you haven't already set an intention, if you were otherwise just planning to go along for the ride because, the Joneses said that they were going to, euphemistically, of course, then maybe you want to give some thought to what your intention is, and not necessarily specifically about Tuscany, but given that time and resources are typically limited, the more that we think about what it is that we actually want to achieve and accomplish, first of all, it affords us the opportunity in the period leading up to the trip, which is in often cases 6 months, a year, or even further in advance, to dwell in that intention and to sort of take some time to research how one might best achieve it. Obviously, we do our best at Wheel and Anchor to try to deliver experiences that address everyone's intentions, but at the same time, we all perhaps have a little bit of something different that we actually intend to achieve or intend to experience out of each trip. And so I think it's worthwhile, and in this age that we move into, as people think more and more about slow travel, about seeing more, spending more time, but with less moving around, it's even more important that we give all this some extra thought. And as I say, Tuscany is a great example because it is so far our most popular or most requested destination, even though we haven't even released the program yet. You don't even know what's in store. But I invite you, particularly if you are joining us for our webinar this coming week, to think about what it is that you would intend to achieve. And you're also welcome to communicate that, because the extent to which we as a community understand, and as a travel facilitator, understand what all of the respective intentions are, helps us a little bit to curate the program both in advance and also on the fly, to make sure that your intentions can be met. And of course, there's also a lot of free time that you can use to fulfill on some of those things that might be a little bit out of the ordinary or might not appeal to the average traveler. So I'm curious to hear, and as I say, we'll be talking more about the whole idea of travel and intentionality in upcoming episodes. But as I say, just as a reminder, this coming Thursday, July the 8th, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, we're going to be talking about Tuscany in depth. We're going to spend 2 weeks in the wonderful city of Florence, which is truly one of the most magical places in Europe. There then will be 2 weeks in the countryside in a hilltop town called Cortona. And I'll tell you all about that this coming Thursday. The following week, on the 15th of July, we're going to be re-releasing our Canal du Midi program. That is a wonderful houseboat trip along in southwestern France in the Languedoc-Roussillon region. Again, lots of interest for that program. And it will form part of our newest France program, which we're calling France Kaleidoscope. And in October of 2022, we're going to be visiting 4 different regions of France. The Canal du Midi will be just one of them, and we're going to be, as I say, focusing on that program on our webinar on Thursday, July the 15th. So stay tuned for all of that. Again, as always, I look forward to your feedback. And in case you didn't see my newsletter last week, I wish you a belated happy Canada Day. Take care of yourselves. I'll catch up to you again next week.